How's it going, guys? This is Alex of Man vs. Cube, and today's video is going to be the long-awaited review of my main speed cube, the DaYan PanShi. In this video, I will also be doing a comparison with the cube to two other speed cubes, the classic DaYan Zhanshi as well as the PanShi Shuangren. So without further ado, let's get to it. The DaYan PanShi was the sixth cube ever to be made by the legendary speed cube company DaYan. It came after the Zhanshi, which of course was the fifth cube made by the DaYan company, and this cube was pretty much everyone's main for quite some time, ever since it first came out. As soon as the DaYan PanShi was mass produced in 2013, many people had high hopes for this cube. Maybe it was finally gonna be the Zhanshi killer. Unfortunately, almost immediately after the PanShi was released, many people pretty much gave this cube a lot of bad reviews. This cube ended up getting a lot of disappointing reviews from speedcubers all around the world. Many people said that it wasn't that great, it was terrible, it wasn't even as good as the Zhanshi. But to me, I have to say, over the years, I feel like this cube has been pretty misunderstood, because ever since I got this for the first time, this has been my main speed cube for quite some time, for quite a few years. And when I go to competition, quite a few people, and a few of my speedcuber friends, many people have been quite surprised that I've actually used this as my main. So why do I actually like this cube? Why do I prefer it over the Zhanshi or the PanShi Shuangren right here? Why haven't I even gone on the cubicle.us to order a new 3x3 and switch mains? Well, to me, this cube has actually fit my cubing style very well. Not only has this been my main for years, my DaYan PanShi is probably the best DaYan PanShi in the world, period. Because over the years, I've broken this cube in, probably done about tens of thousands of solves on this cube. I lubricated it with a few types of lube. I've tried silicone spray on this before. I did recently try lubrical silk with this. It worked pretty well. But mainly I used Maru lube to speed this up. The Maru lube works pretty well, and also when it comes to the tensions, if I kind of pull it apart, we could see it's probably about medium tensions. It's not too loose, but it's also not too tight. If I loosen this cube up even further, it does become more capable of popping, but if I tighten it too much, it doesn't turn as well. The turning on this cube it's a pretty reasonable speed. It's pretty smooth, and again, it's not too fast, but it has a reasonable speed. It's not as fast as the Zhanshi, and not as fast as the PanShi either, but it has at least a reasonable speed, and it does still have potential for elite speed cubing. However, it also has sort of a bit of a bumpy, clacky sort of feeling. Many people notice this out of the box. It still has sort of a smooth, fast feeling. Well, of course, don't get me wrong, I've broken this in for many years. This is pretty fast and pretty smooth. Again, not as fast as these, but at least fast enough. At least when I'm performing algorithms. I guess I've gotten used to the feeling of this cube. Many people have also said before over the years that this cube does tend to feel a little unstable if I even get it. It could be a little wobbly, although I guess it's not really happening right now, because I guess I've gotten used to the feeling of this cube, as I said. But Like when I'm performing algorithms on the PanShi, for example, there are times I'm able to control it. At least I'm okay with algorithms on fast cubes if I get a lot of practice with them. But sometimes on the PanShi, as you saw right there, sometimes if I try to push myself to the limit with fast cubes, I could tend to get some lockups. Corner cutting on the PanShi is pretty well as well as the reverse corner cutting. As for the corner cutting on the PanShi, it could corner cut at least line to line without some effort. But if you go too far, at least past 45 degrees, you could see that it tends to pretty much lock up horribly and could even tend to try to pop on you if you even force it even further. Reverse is probably about maybe third a piece, if not half a piece. But go any further, just like I said, go any further and that is pretty much what happens. That was pretty much something that was shown on Crazy Bad Cuber's video. If you go too far with the reverse corner cutting, it does tend to pop pretty much like that and send the back piece flying across the room. So that is pretty much one issue it has, but I'm able to control it at least. Besides, we don't usually need a corner cut that much. But as long as you don't go too far, the reverse corner cutting is not that bad, as well as the regular corner cutting. As for the PanShi, it's the same thing. You can see I just got horrible lockups on that. There are times I'm able to at least control the PanShi, but for most of the time, it is just too fast for me, and sometimes I end up overshooting or getting lockups on it. And of course, one issue that I also have with the PanShi is of course the corner twisting. I get corner twistings very often when I'm solving it. Yeah, I got it back. Okay. The PanShi is a pretty smooth cube. I did use it for quite a while to see if it would be better than my PanShi or the PanShi. But after having a few issues with it, I finally decided that I actually prefer the PanShi over the PanShi and the PanShi. Even though the cube does tend to get a little unstable, it apparently slows my speed down, and I'm actually able to control it much better than with the PanShi or the PanShi. Unfortunately, one problem that I do have with this cube is it does have issues with corner pieces breaking on the inside. I will get a piece. So as we could see, this is an old corner piece that came off of my PanShi, and you could see that it is busted. One of these little pieces right here is missing or has broken off from this corner piece. If we compare it to the corner piece of a PanShi, we could see just how skinny the stem is compared to the PanShi on the PanShi. And at the bottom, I'm going to call these roots. We could see how small the roots are on the PanShi compared to the PanShi. And because the roots on the corner are so small, after a lot of friction is put on the inside on the corners, it just ends up breaking these pieces off. And unfortunately, this is, despite the PanShi being my main for quite some time, this is pretty much a huge issue and one of the main reasons why people did not like this cube. If we take a look how the pieces fit together, we'll do a comparison to the PanShi to be exact. So we see with the pieces on the PanShi how the edge kind of has space between the two corners. We could see right through that. And the torpedo piece hooks underneath the corners and pretty much keeps the cube from popping, at least for most of the time. Well, on the PanShi, it's totally different. We could see that all the pieces fit very close together. There is no space whatsoever between the corners. While this does keep the cube from popping, this is the one reason why a lot of friction is put at the roots of the corner pieces, often resulting in the stems breaking off. And as you guys can notice, there is no torpedo at the bottom. When I first got my PanShi, it actually did not have torpedoes. Some people have gotten torpedoes with their PanShi, but it is said if you take out the torpedoes, it will actually make the cube much better. The thing is, there's actually no need for torpedoes because this is actually a pretty nice anti-popping mechanism. The cube rarely pops because of this, but I will say, of course, I have had pretty near explosions, and it does explode on me if I'm not careful. So now we get into a few example solves on these three cubes that I have mentioned on this video, just to give us an idea what my turning style and my feeling is like for these three cubes. So when it comes to the DaYan Zanshi, as shown in these two solves, I still have to say that it's overall a pretty good cube. It's very smooth and very fast, and it was such a nice cube back in the day when people used to love the Zanshi and use it very often as their main. While I have been able to get pretty decent solves with the Zanshi with some practice, it's still a little too fast for my turning style. It is so fast that I sometimes end up overshooting, and probably because of the tight tensions, I do end up getting a few lockups when trying to perform algorithms. Overall, the Zanshi is a pretty decent cube, very smooth and very fast. It's just not quite the cube for me. Now, if we take a look at a couple of example solves with the PanShi Shuangren, I definitely have to say this is probably the most awkward cube that I have used so far in my entire cubing life. When it comes to the feeling of this cube, it's a pretty nice, fast, smooth, sandy feeling, but the feeling of this cube for me is not very consistent. My consistency is totally off on this cube. Again, just like on the Zanshi, I could get decent solves with this cube with some practice, but my consistency is totally off. Probably because of the tensions, I keep on getting lockups on this cube, and the corner cutting is just not very consistent, and it doesn't corner cut sometimes when I want it to. Also, as shown in this solve right now, a lot of problems I have with this cube is of course the corner twisting. Now I conclude this video with an average of 5 that I did on my DaYan PanShi, and we could see just how much better I'm able to perform on this cube compared to the Zanshi or the PanShi Shuangren. While there are still times that this cube could feel very unstable and could even pop or even explode at any second, I've broken this cube in so well over the years and have gotten so used to the feeling that I'm able to control much better without the possibility of locking up or overshooting. I'm able to perform algorithms more fluently, and I'm able to get good solves and consistent averages. When it comes to my final thoughts on the DaYan PanShi, even though it has been such a great speed cube for me over the years and has been my main for quite some time, unfortunately I am unable to fully recommend it. One of the main reasons is by the time this video is completed and posted on YouTube, unfortunately, as of recently, the DaYan PanShi was in fact discontinued by the DaYan company and the manufacturer himself, pretty much due to all the issues that it had, including the problems with the corners breaking. But if you were still interested in trying out this cube, I do believe that if you're a speed cuber who is looking to get a little faster, but you prefer a speed cube that is at least not too fast, but still has a reasonable controllable speed, such as a Shangshao 3x3, an old Wit Eden 3x3, or even a Gans 3, then the DaYan PanShi might just be a good step up from those type of cubes. However, if you prefer very smooth, fast cubes, such as the old-fashioned DaYan Zanshi, the PanShi Shuangren, any of the Moyu 3x3s, or any of the newer speed cubes that are coming out today, then the DaYan PanShi is not the right cube for you. My overall rating for the DaYan PanShi is 4 stars. You guys have to believe me, it really wasn't that bad of a cube when it first came out. But the one thing that is holding it back from at least 5 stars is the fact that it has trouble with the corner pieces breaking. Overall, I've always loved the DaYan PanShi as my main speed cube 3x3. It's been a great consistent cube for me over the years. However, I have noticed that it's started to get a little old and is starting to wear out. So I have been thinking about possibly switching mains, and who knows, that just might happen in the near future. So that's my review on the DaYan PanShi 3x3. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Alex Mack. Till we meet again.